The Clarion Autumn Leaf Festival is an event that attracts a lot of people to come back and say hello to old friends at their alma mater, Clarion University of Pennsylvania. George Kern is one of them, and he has a unique car. Let's take a listen to what he has done with it. George, you have an amazing car, and I've seen whole hordes of people coming by and taking a look at it. Tell me what it is.
Okay, it's a 2008 Ford Mustang with a Roush conversion on it. It's a stage 3, which means that it has an M90 supercharger on it. And with that, I had put in some Detroit rocker cams and long tube headers and a few other things, cold air induction, that takes the horsepower up to 520 horsepower. I've done a lot of extra things in the engine compartment. The rear tail lights are a conversion from Cervini. The side scoops and the items on the dash are also extra that I put on. The Lamborghini doors are also an add-on that I put on about 4 months ago. It's a daily driver for me. I have like 71,000 miles on it. I've driven it back and forth from Arizona to Pennsylvania and Michigan about 4 years now. And I enjoy going out to car shows, talking with other buffs, car buffs, so to speak, and just enjoy showing the car.
What do people say whenever you tell them that you're doing transcontinental driving in this machine?
A few people look like that car actually drives cross country and you actually have 71,000 miles on it. But others say, good for me, that I'm enjoying it on a daily basis, and that's about it. We just have a lot of fun. But some of them look at me like I should be having it up on blocks with a cover on it, preserving the longevity of it. But that's not what I'm going to be doing. And like my daughter tells me that I shouldn't be spending all the money on it, and I simply tell her that I'm only spending your inheritance, sweetie, so that usually gets me by.
Now, I noticed there was a young girl who asked you how much you had invested in it, and you said, I don't know.
Right, and quite truthfully, I have all the receipts for all the work that I've done on the car, all the extras, but I'm kind of a pack rat in that sense, so I know everything. I started going through the receipts, and I got up to over 10,000. I decided I didn't want to know anymore, and I still had a big stack to go through yet, and I thought probably it'd be best that I don't know how much.
Well, what about the Lambo doors? You might remember that. How much was that conversion?
The conversion there was, they normally are $1,500 for the conversion itself, and then you have to pay for the installation. But in talking with the people at at Vertical Doors in Corona, California, they had indicated that they would install them for me for $1,300. And that was for the price plus installation, and I kind of thought, well, let me think about it. He said, I'll tell you what, take another $150 off the price for you to pay for your gas to drive it from Phoenix over to Corona, California, which, I decided, done deal. So I drove it over, and I feel a lot better having somebody that does this on a daily basis to put the doors on. And they have like 5 different patents on it, and they are, they're extremely well built, and they're also functional that they can open like a regular door and then also operate as a Lambo door. A lot of different companies, you have to do welding and cutting and everything else, and they're not very, very strong, but they're a very good product.
Sometimes people use the word unique incorrectly. Unique means the only one. I would think that the way you have this set up, it might be the only one in the world that's set up exactly like you have it.
I would probably say yes, and it's not that it's anything that anybody else can't do with their car. It's just that I decided to put them together on this particular on this particular model. And I had certain things I wanted to do with it, and I'm not quite done yet. But as far as it being the only one of its kind, I would have to say probably yes.
A silly question. What kind of fuel mileage do you get when you're driving?
On the highway, I get around between 20 and 21 miles per gallon with the car. Now around town, or it's usually probably around 14 or 15. Of course, if I decide to get on it a little bit, the mileage drops a little bit.
I would imagine that you're pulled over a lot by police, not necessarily because you're violating the law, but just to take a look at your car.
It's happened twice.
Has it?
It has happened twice. In both times in Arizona, which I have a very good radar detector in the car, and it's saved me a lot of times. Not so much that I'm a speed freak, but it's just that when you're cruising on an interstate and it's like says 65 or 70 or 75 and you're going 80, you know, a lot of times they'll use that as an excuse to give you a ticket. So it gives me the warning, I slow down and I don't get it. So it's saved me numerous times.
Now you've had this on the dyno?
Yes, I have.
What kind of rear wheel horsepower do you get?
438, 439 horsepower, right around there. So
How much more is it producing than it did as in a sense, a stock Roush?
Okay, well, the stock Roush comes with the supercharger, like I said, and it puts out 430 horsepower. With the additions, with the cams and everything else that I mentioned earlier, it's putting out 520 horsepower, so it's another 90. And quite truthfully, the way the car is built, it has a stock bottom end, as they say. By bottom end, it means the crank, the fork, or rather the pistons, and the piston rods and that. So it was recommended to me that I don't go any higher in horsepower because I very possibly could blow up the engine.
What rear end ratio do you have?
It has a 355 in it, which is it's a higher rear end, which gives me the better mileage. Like I said, it's fine. I enjoy driving it the way it is. If I wanted to get a little bit more serious as far as speed and let's say in quarter-mile drag or something like that, number one, I probably would have an automatic and not a standard, but I would have the 373 or 411 gears.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it wasn't built for the strip. It was just built for my pleasure. I don't pop the clutch and burn rubber and everything else, not with $430 Michelin tires on the vehicle. So when I've gone to cruise nights and that, and people pull out in the road and they burn their rubber going down the roadway, I'll go up behind them and I'll rev the engine, and then I'll honk my horn twice and very slowly pull away. And it gets people laughing somewhat. I have, that's not on the car right now, for instance, I have a specially painted tunnel cover which covers the rear seat. That gives it the appearance of being what is known as a speedster, which just shows you the front two seats. That is not on today because of the weather issue. But as far as even asking a price or saying what I take, I honestly, I don't know.
We'll have some suitors who will probably put some quotes on YouTube on this page. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks for having me.